Kerry Martell here for Power Palace Gym, giving yet another series of instructions on how to do exercises for bodybuilding, weightlifting here at Power Palace Gym. So today is leg day, and leg day means squats. As I said in previous videos, you should build your training program around three main exercises, that being the bench press, some variation bench press, deadlift, some variation deadlift, and a squat, of course, variations of squats. So there's many different ways to squat. That's what we're going to start with today, and we're going to do it above, our poster of the quad father himself, Tom Platz. Let's see. I actually don't mind leg day as much as some people do, right? Some people really hate leg day. It's just any other muscle group for me. When I was a lot younger, I did a very traditional, just four sets sort of squat routine, and I did more of the powerlifting type of squats. But here I'm going to be doing something. What I've decided to do is do a more narrow squat, much like Tom Platz did, and see what kind of results that gets for me. Right, do something similar to what Tom Platz did for his training. So Tom Platz started out learning the more narrow Olympic style of squat, which is very good if you're going to get into cleans. Okay, if you want to be an Olympic lifter, this is the type of squat you should probably be doing. If you're a power lifter, it doesn't matter as much. The main difference is with a more narrow squat, you're not going to be able to lift as much weight as with a wider, more powerlifting type of squat. That is one thing to keep in mind. The main difference is you keep the bar up higher on your shoulders. It is the high bar position versus the low bar position. Honestly, there's lots of really great tutorials on how to do these things online, so I'm not going to get too specific into it, but I'm just telling you what we are doing. We are doing a high bar position with the power bar on our shoulders, and we are doing a narrow squat. And the basic thing, important thing to know about narrow squat, okay, is you keep your knees in. Your stance isn't out like this. Your feet are straight, okay, or at least straightish as you can get comfortably, okay? And you're going to bend the knees down, but no higher past the toes. And really what you're going to do is you're going to sit back down with your butt. Imagine that you have like a bungee cord connected to your tail bone, and you're going to squat down like this. Now, a lot of people, especially Westerners, right, we're not used to squatting this low, okay? We're not used to doing that because we have toilets, we have chairs, things like that. But many cultures throughout human history, like the squat is the basic movement that we are designed, our legs are designed to do this. And it's only because we're not used to doing these things as kids growing up that our muscles are really underdeveloped, and these positions can be very uncomfortable. Many people find they don't have the flexibility for a very low squat position. For this video, I'm going to do half squat reps where I'm not going ass to grass. The reason is because I'm just getting into weightlifting. It's probably more effective for people who are just getting into weightlifting. And honestly, after pulling my hamstring, I want to take it a little bit easy and work myself back into things. So in this video, we're going to be doing half squat reps. By the way, I do suggest that you keep some type of workout logbook, whether it's just a notebook or something dedicated like our Power Palace Gym workout logbook that I designed. I use it to keep track of my workouts. Okay, or at least I've started to since I created this about 2 weeks ago. I started keeping track of my workouts using this book on July 21st. Before then, I was kind of keeping things mentally controlled, or at least memorized. But I'm doing so many different things, a lot of things that I've added to my routine that I didn't have before in my routine. I find it's actually a good idea to keep track of stuff so I can measure, how much progress that I'm making. So whether you get ours or just get yourself a regular notebook to keep track of your workouts, totally up to you. I just suggest that you do keep some type of logbook, some type of training diary, okay? Make it easier for you to measure your progress and stay consistent and just know what you're doing, right? It's also a good motivation tool. You can say, oh, it's gonna look in my log like I didn't work out on the day that I should have worked out. That's gonna look shitty when I try to look through this later. I'm gonna feel bad. So I better work out today so I don't feel bad in the future, right? Be a good motivation tool. I'm going to use a method, not exactly what Tom Platz did, but it's inspired what Tom Platz did. It's going to be a pyramid system. Now, pyramiding is different than the traditional bodybuilding type of routine where you choose a weight that you can manage for 6 to 12 reps and do 4 sets with. Pyramiding is different. You start out with a very low weight to sort of warm up your muscles, and then you build up, you gradually increase weight. This is very common with powerlifting, and it is the type of routine that Tom Platz actually primarily did with his squats. He pyramided up, and then he would go back down after he reached his 1 rep max weight. I don't know if I'm going to do something quite that intense. He used to do I think 20 sets or something very ridiculous. Now he only did leg day once a week, okay? I think once every 15 days or something like that. I'm probably not going to be that intense first starting out because I am not the quad father, okay? I'm just not. So this is a routine really for getting into squatting and leg days, okay? Which is where I'm currently at, getting back into fitness, as you can tell, post-COVID and after opening this gym. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pyramid. I'm going to start with a very low weight. I'm going to put 35s on, okay, 2 35s on. Then I'm going to update it to 2 45s, and then I'm probably going to add a little bit more weight. And I'll get myself to where I can probably do maybe a weight that I can manage 3 times, okay? And then I'm just going to stop. And so it'll probably be, maybe I'll probably do 4 sets just starting out here. And then as I build up time, I'm going to add a lot more sets, okay? So let's go. One important thing before we begin. There's the great debate. Should you stretch your legs before or after a squat? I argue not. And this is probably, I would assume, the reason why Tom Platz pyramided for his squats, right? So when you stretch your muscles, okay, you're intentionally trying to stretch them out. What happens is you're going to temporarily lengthen that muscle. And that can be very useful for certain types of fitness activities, like say martial arts, right? You want to stretch your legs before you go kick so you can get find an easier time doing a range of motion. That kind of warms them up for that as well. But when you're squatting, it's not as good to increase the length of your muscles before you squat, unless you find that you can't comfortably do the squat to begin with, okay? If you have that limited range of mobility, then definitely you should stretch before you squat. But I don't have a flexibility issue, so I can squat just fine. And this really will be warming up my muscles by doing a small amount of weight before going to a larger amount of weight. To be perfectly honest, I have not squatted in about a year, so I'm not really sure where my legs are personally. Actually, that's not true. I did squat. I did a little bit of a warm-up before I pulled my hamstring muscles last month, and now I've recovered from that, so I'm going to be squatting again. So let's find out where I'm at, honestly. So you take one step back. That's all you should have to do. Just take one step back, get yourself right in a position, and go for it, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay. Now I feel like my legs are warmed up. Okay, so it's now time to change out some plates. Okay, it's probably long enough for a break. Got 2 45s on here. Let's see if I can comfortably do some reps with it. Again, I'm not in shape, okay? So give me a little bit of a break if I can't make it back up to 20 reps again with just 2 plates. 1 plate, I suppose. Okay, back in position, and here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay. Whew. Whew. More challenging than I thought it was going to be, but I made it with a little more in the tank. Whew. Okay. All right, on to the next challenge. Okay, I've now added some 25s to the stack. Let's see how many reps I can get. Now, one thing to keep in mind is as you're getting closer to muscle failure and you're by yourself, you want to make sure you have your safety bars up, okay, at a good height, that you could not get crushed under the weight. Be safe, okay. If you reach complete muscle failure when you're in down position, you definitely don't want to do that by yourself without safety bars, okay. And it's harder to dump a bar inside of a squat cage, so you just kind of fall to the ground and hope that the bar don't hit you in the head. Best thing to do, honestly, is just don't go to complete muscle failure when you're squatting by yourself without a spotter. Okay. Oh, I should mention, like, basically, make sure you have a full diaphragm of air before you lift up, because that is what's going to be holding the weight, in position for your quads and your hamstrings to do the work for the squat. Three, wow, went a little too low that time. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I would make sure I would have reached muscle failure by the 13th or the 14th, so I decided to stop, especially after I made that recovery. Okay, switched out 25s for 35s. Should be like 205. Let's see how many reps I get on this 4th set. Actually, I got these a little high, don't I? That's okay. Okay. Okay, 11 reps. All right, 2 plates. It's probably gonna be my last set. Now, if I was doing the full Tom Platz workout, I would go one more time for a weight that I could manage 3 reps for. But I'm not gonna do that today since I'm just starting out again. But that would be the actual routine. Now we're gonna use everybody's favorite leg machine, the leg press. Favorite usually because they're cheating the exercise. They're using their joints and not their muscles to move the weight, which is bad, not just bad form, but bad for your health. It's a good way to screw your knees up for life, okay? So today we're gonna talk about the actual way to use the leg press. And I can kind of tell that some people have probably not been using this too correctly because they've let the sled go in the topmost position instead of between these two angles here, which means that they probably have been extending their legs just a bit too far to be using this correctly, as this seat here is adjustable. So what you actually, so first of all, most important thing is do not rest your legs in the space between leg press. Obviously people do this, okay? The sleds are designed to go all the way down back to the seat. If for some reason, if God forbid some reason, the safety bars fail for some reason, you've got a shitload of weight on there, who knows what could happen with some of these welds, especially the Chinese made leg presses, which this is not, but you never know what happens, right? You will lose your fucking knees for life. You will never be able to walk again if this sled crushes your kneecaps, okay? So don't rest your legs inside of this space. That's not what it's for. It's there so you have a full range of motion all the way back, okay? That's why it's there. It's not for you to rest your fucking legs. Don't do that. What you're supposed to do with the leg press is you're supposed to work the muscles. There's 2 different ways to do it, right? There's the traditional leg press where you have your feet in this very flat area versus the curved area, more horizontal, I suppose, if you're looking at this. You're supposed to keep your feet together, sort of a narrow squat position, actually, your feet straight up, okay? And you're gonna go back just so that you can feel it really on your hamstrings, and you're gonna push forward. Now there's a variation which you can use, which is why I'm doing the leg press here instead of a hack squat press. Normally Tom Platz's workout, he used a ballerina squat on a hack squat. When ballerina being that he used the tippy toes, right? He's on his tippy toes. You come back like this, and then all the way up like that, which you can simulate that on a leg press, which is why I'm here doing this, right? Okay, and that's gonna really hit in deep on the hamstrings, okay? But a lot of people don't use the leg press that way. You get a nice range of motion here with the ballerina squat, all the way down if you can. That's what Tom Platz would do on a hack squat, and that's why I'm doing leg press. I'm just talking about leg press in general. Normal way is to have your feet always flat on here and just bring it back. Your heels shouldn't really lift too far off leg press because that'll put too much stress on your knee. Okay, you just want it on your hamstrings. The other way is to do more of a sumo type of squat, and you're gonna go all the way back here, and you wanna keep your tailbone on the pad, but you're gonna work more of the inner muscles, right? The adduction muscles of your thighs this way, okay? The knees going past you, but not so fast, far past you that your tailbone comes off the platform. And you rest the platform here in this space. Now at the top, if you're at the top, you're probably extending too far and putting more stress on your knees than on the actual muscles. So you should be leaving the sled here more close up. This is a more close exercise. Ballerina squat is not as ideal on a leg press versus a hack squat machine, but it's still much safer to do this machine-assisted ballerina squat positions versus doing it with the barbell. Old school ways barbell, but that greatly increases chance of injury because you're having to control a barbell above your back, which can crash on you if you are to slip. Ballerina squat requires a lot of coordination and balance. You cannot lift nearly as much weight as doing a more conventional type of squat position. So I highly suggest you do it. If you're going to do it on some type of machine, ideally hack squat, pendulum squat, or leg press. So seeing better, we have our feet in a more traditional position for using the leg press. Feet are not close together, but you know, probably about shoulder distance. Your toes are pointing straight up. Okay. You're gonna use a comfortable weight. I got one plate on each side here, and you're gonna come down. As you're coming down, you're lifting your heels up off the platform, and you're putting the weight onto your toes. And as you're doing that, you're moving your knees a little bit past your toes, actually, and that's the motion. So all is one. It looks like this. Be mindful of your knee, okay? This will put some stress on your knee a bit, but as long as you're using good form, it should be okay. All right? That's going to give you a nice deep stretch in the hamstrings and the quads. Okay. And again, set the sled in the center of the two safety bars. Not all the way at the top, okay? This seat is adjustable. It won't lean far back for you if you're finding that you're going too far past the safety position. You want to leave it here because if you leave the sled up here at the top of the position, it's actually a little bit harder to lift off with a lot of weight. And you're already putting that weight straight on your knees, and you're not going to be putting it on the muscles. So 4 sets, 6 to 12 reps. Nothing too crazy with leg press. You don't have to use ballerina squat. You can use whichever variation you prefer. Okay, now we're on to our next exercise, which is the leg curl. Now, some people might be saying, Kerry, you're skipping over leg extensions. Okay, Tom Platz didn't do leg extensions for the quads unless he was cutting. When he was actually in his bulking phase, and he was actually developing additional size of his quads, he did not do leg extensions. This is coming from his own literature, okay? He only used leg extensions, machines, when he was cutting to sculpt out to really pop them out, okay? And the reason is because, you'll see this, if you do the ballerina squat on a machine, it's just going to burn the shit out of your quads, okay? Far more effectively, actually. Obviously, if you look at photos of him, obviously a lot more effectively than using a standard leg extension machine. So we're not going to do that because I'm not cutting. What we're going to do is the leg curl, and I commonly see this almost every freaking time I come to this leg curl machine. I see this, right? People have the bar in the forward position. If you have that bar in the more forward position, it becomes easier to do a leg curl because you're putting less stress on your hamstring. I think it's actually going more on the knees, to be honest. The knee joint is helping out more in the exercise. So if you want to be a cheater, go right ahead and cheat yourself. You're only cheating yourself. I don't give a damn. But if you want to do leg curls correctly, keep it in the bottom position. So I don't really remember what weight I can do. Let's see if this is even the right position for me. What you basically want is you want to be using your hamstrings, okay? You should be able to kick yourself basically in the butt all the way back with the weight on it. This is currently sitting at, I guess 100. That's probably fine for demonstration purposes, okay? You're going to go for 12 reps, and you want to have good form, good control form, and the most importantly with these machines, you don't want to let the weight stack hit. You don't release the weight. It'd be like every time you do a squat, you re-rack the bar. Why would you do that? You're taking stress off of your muscles, which is the opposite of what you want to be doing with the exercise. So whenever you're using these machines, very important, you want to have full range of motion, right? You want to be here, but you don't want to be here. You want to be here, not here at the end of your range. So it looks like this, okay? Whoops, I did it wrong. That's actually a pretty good weight actually for me, considering how tired my hamstrings are. Now, as I recall, I could be even correct, I don't think that he actually went to muscle failure on his leg curls when he was not cutting. I think that he only went to a decent amount of normal reps, 4 sets. So that's what I'm going to do. I could be mistaken. Feel free to correct me in the comments. But that's what I'm going to do today. And so I suggest you starting out do as well, because it's very easy to pull the hamstrings, as I unfortunately discovered last time. I did leg day last month, and I was out of service for several weeks, and which really threw my training off. You have no idea how badly it can throw your training off if you skip leg day. Not only because you're not getting that good growth hormone getting pumped into your system, which, you know, doing squats is a tremendous release of growth hormone naturally by your body. But it also just threw my fucking shit out of whack. I had a day where I just did biceps, you know, just trying to keep the growth hormone flowing. So don't want to skip the leg day. Best way to not skip leg day is not pull your hamstring by going too hard when you're first starting out. We're almost done, guys, I swear. All right, so now we are on the glute kickback. A lot of people are familiar with a lying leg curl, which is often advertised as a hamstring machine. But it's really more of a hamstring / glute machine. Tom Platz, as I seem to have seen, primarily used lying leg curls, and I can see why. Because he did a crazy amount of reps on it for, what basically you see in his cutting videos is he really gets his ass up into the air. And the reason I think that he's doing that is because when you're using a lying leg curl machine and you raise your butt more up into the air, what ends up happening is you're working more of the hamstring versus the glute. And that's a little bit awkward to do. It's hard to do, actually, with good form, if you're not using a very adjustable lying leg curl machine. So what I have is a seated leg curl machine, which focuses just on that hamstring, really isolates it. Pretty much impossible to use your glutes and on the the seated leg curl machine. And instead we have a glute kickback, which is just for glutes. Now you can use it for hamstrings as well, and to do that, you raise the leg up. So it is actually a bit more like a lying leg curl machine, actually. But that is not how you work glutes. You work glutes by keeping it in the bottom position. And you're gonna find that you're not able to do a lot of weight if you're doing this correctly. If you're able to use a ton of weight, like you do the whole stack on this, it's probably because you're cheating the exercise. You're not actually isolating your glutes. Your glutes are not that strong of a muscle. They're really not. And most people are not gonna be able to do a tremendous amount of weight with their butt. It's what you're using. You're literally lifting the weight with your ass, okay? And if you're lifting a shitload of weight and you're just first starting out on this, you're doing it wrong. You're probably using your hamstrings. So I like to do it after already exhausting my fucking hamstrings completely, because then I can really focus on just using the glutes. So don't have a lot of weight on here. And we're gonna stick it for one leg at a time. One knee is down here, okay? Grab onto these things, and you're basically just gonna donkey kick, and you're isolating just your glutes, okay? You should feel it just in your butt, right? That's it. Probably do a little bit more weight, but you get the idea. Now we're gonna change out the next leg, okay? Very simple exercise. Very simple exercise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So go for somewhere between 4 sets. You know, comfortable amount of reps, 6 to 12. I'm gonna have more weight for my next reps. We get the basic idea, all right? Now we're gonna, right after this, we're gonna finish off. I swear to God, we're almost finished with leg day, okay? 2 more exercises for calves. Okay, now we are on our final leg day exercises, okay? Promise, it's almost over. Calf raises. Calf raises are what a lot of people skip, or they do it incorrectly. I have an actual video where I talk about how to actually use a standing calf raise machine. Today we're going to talk about standing calf raise machine and the seated calf raise machine. Now, seated calf raise machine is something you don't see at any gym unless they are really a serious bodybuilding gym, okay? You just don't see it. A lot of people think, especially a lot of the gym owners, I'm not trying to trash talk people, but it's like a lot of gym owners don't understand much about the real science behind bodybuilding and the different muscle groups. So seated calf raise machine works on one muscle, okay, of the calf, and the seated calf raise machine isolates the other muscle of the calf. All right, the calf's really a couple of muscles, and you need to do different exercises to really develop your calves. And I like to superset them, and by supersetting it does a couple things, right? First off, it makes it easier to do seated calf raises without having to use tremendous amounts of weight. This is a plate-loaded calf raise machine, old school one. I have a selectorized weights machine back here. I'm pretty sure somebody built this thing in their garage during COVID. It's actually a nice standing calf raise machine. It can have a lot of weight on it. It's selectorized. Problem is it's not very adjustable. So a shorter guy like me, I can't use it. I just can't get my heels down low enough to the ground to be able to use the exercise. So I bought this plate-loaded one temporarily. I got it really cheap for 125 bucks. It's great. You can use it, do a single leg calf raise with machine calf raise with it, right? Machine calf raise with it, or you can do two legs together, which is what I'm going to be doing. And then the seated calf raise machine, I actually don't know who made this one. It looks pretty old. It's got nice vintage brown leather on it from, you commonly saw from machines in the 60s, 70s, even 80s. So it could have been from that era. It's very nice and it's good. So we're going to superset it together, and that's what we're going to do to finish out a leg day. Okay. So you're just going to go away. You're going to just stand under it. You're going to get your feet in position. Toes completely straight ahead, okay? Not to the side, be inside like a clown, okay? If you're not Ronald McDonald, we're gonna have our toes straight ahead, okay? We're just gonna raise them up, just like this, right? As high as we can go on our tippy toes, all the way down, all the way up, okay? All the way down. And do this for, about 12 reps. Or at least don't burns. Obviously, I can put a lot more weight on this, okay? Get the idea. Now we're going to superset with the seated calf raise machine. Okay? Seated calf raise machine. Some people don't know how to use this machine, which is why I'm doing this tutorial, okay? And I'm trying to get this into position here. There we kind of go. Not really going to work. There we are, okay? All right. Now we're in position. Okay. Seated calf raise machine. Super easy exercise, actually, okay? A lot of people get wrong is they don't know how to use the machine. They don't get a very good exercise. So again, it's all in the ankles, okay? You want your heels go all the way down, and you want to raise your toes up just like this. And some people do the exercise like this, right? And that's not the full range of motion. The full range of motion is by putting that lever forward and going up and down like this, right? 2, 3, 4, and I'm not pulling the weight, I'm just holding it over my knees, gingerly. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Could probably have done a couple more reps, but it's pretty burning, all right? Supersetting. Even though these different exercises isolate different parts of the calf, it does kind of work the other part too, which is not as well. But it does get a workout. So it does give you a burn, right? And supersetting between these, we're going to finish these off real quick. And that's going to be the end of leg day, okay? Do 4 sets, aim for 6 to 12 reps each. And that's the end of the leg day, guys. So I hope that you enjoyed this little intro to a Tom Platz inspired workout. What makes a Tom Platz inspired, in my opinion, is the pyramiding for the squats. Although I'm not pyramiding to the lengths that Tom Platz did, because I'm just starting out. And that's what this video is for, those just starting out. Tom Platz, I think, did like 20 sets of squats, okay, pyramiding, and I just can't do that right now. We're gonna get there though, we're gonna get there. The other thing that makes a Tom Platz inspired is the ballerina squat variation on the leg press. Okay, he didn't do it on leg press, he used a hack squat. I don't have a hack squat. We're gonna get one eventually. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.